Hello and welcome to the eROC World Qualifying Final. We are here in London and let us know wherever you're watching from. Comment in the stream, tell us who you're rooting for and where you're watching from, because we have got an incredible evening's racing coming up for you. Now, for those of you who don't know what's going on, we're looking for someone to join us in 2 weeks in Mexico to race at the Race of Champions. And the person they're going to race against, one of them, is this guy, James Baldwin.
How you doing, mate?
Jambo, as we called you.
Jambo, I love it, mate.
So first of all, Happy New Year.
And you?
First of all, you were the first person to qualify for Mexico eROC during the Invitational, which was only 4 weeks ago. Talk us through a little bit about what that meant to you, and now that we've come to your place at Veloce to sort of celebrate and do another live stream.
I mean, it was the perfect way to round off a really good year with Veloce. It really surprised me, the result, I think, and a lot of other people as well. I know I had good pace going into it, but the result really topped off the practice I put into it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to going to Mexico now. Thank God I'm with Veloce. They're a good team to go into it with. They have experience in the esports world, but the real life world of motorsport as well. Yeah. And that's going to really pay dividend, I think, when we get there. And
how tough was it to sort of get through the live stream and the Invitational? And based on that, how good do you think the lineup is for the qualifying tonight?
Oh, it was immensely tough. I mean, you know, there was a bit of a pace advantage going into the semis, and then Aurelian, who's racing tonight, really took it to me. The quality tonight's going to be really intense, I think. Arguably more intense than it was in the Invitational.
Okay, well, let's have a little look back at how you did it. This is what happened at the Invitational, which was only 4 weeks ago. He's streets ahead. He's practically all the way out of Beijing by now. That's amazing.
Baldwin takes the victory by over a second from Pinto.
49.2.
Woo.
That was a very quick race.
James Baldwin has had this absolutely nailed from the start.
Wow.
Again, a 48.9. It's the fastest time of the night, and he absolutely destroys Nuno.
That was not a sensible time. That is a crazy time. Now we have Mikhail Schmidl and James Baldwin up against each other in quarter-final 3. This is a good matchup.
James Baldwin doesn't really need to push. He would, of course, have no idea that Mikhail's made a mistake, but it's an easy win for Baldwin and a hugely fast time. I would expect a fight back here.
From Schmidl. If Schmidl can keep it in the middle of the track, then...
middle in the middle.
Yeah, then it'll be amazing.
Jamie McLaurin on Facebook saying, "Get the tacos ready, Jambo." That is James Baldwin's manager.
Brilliant.
Half a hand and half excited about what his driver is doing this evening. Another very decent win and a big slide from Mikhail Schmid. It's a hugely fast race, and Baldwin still bossed it. James Baldwin just looks like he's on a different planet. This is a fast first lap from Aurelien Mallet.
Yeah, he's really brought the game to James Baldwin.
Baldwin very fast through that last section of the lap.
Wow.
Incredible speed he carried into the final section
He's
of the lap.
He's the comeback king, and look, again, it's under 49s. Could we see a big upset here and see Jambo going home?
You can see on the right-hand side.
Seconds away.
You see the car moving around.
Yeah, he's done it.
And it is. No. Aurelien's just got it.
To face either of these in the final will be brutal.
It is advantage Baldwin if he doesn't make any errors.
He's got it. Wow.
It is Baldwin who
well
got
done,
another
Jambo.
48.
And we have a final. Look at that. Yeah, all project cars final. Oh, jump start.
No, Tromala.
That's Yanni's gone too soon. What a shame for Yanni. If Jambo wins this, he is the eROC Invitational winner, and he will go through to Mexico.
Baldwin is on the outside line, and I tell you what, Toppy's had a good fight back as he comes to the line, but Baldwin takes it 2-0 to James Baldwin of Veloce. He is going to Mexico. We found
amazing.
Our first man.
High five to everyone at home as well. High five. So that was how you made it to be going to Mexico in 2 weeks. Like, can you believe that you're going to be racing at Mexico at the Formula One circuit, and you're going to be sort of racing against some of the best drivers in the world?
I won't believe it until I get on that plane, I don't think.
But you did it, fair and square. And that's, to be fair, Ben Constantinos, by the way, everyone. Whoop, whoop. There he is. Look, Ben, just give us a sense of, a big achievement from Jambo, because he wasn't a favourite going into that Invitational.
Absolutely. A
massive
achievement. It was an Invitational bringing together the very best in esports, the very best champions in all different disciplines and all different platforms. And the big titles that you have are not as big as some of the other guys around you, and yet you manage to show what you can do. And it's really nice also that James got a little bit of proper car experience as well. He can bring that into the racing. But we've got from the competition that we've been holding for the last 30 days. 30 days? Yes, 30 days.
Yeah.
So much talent to show you guys tonight.
I mean, that's the thing, is that if you remember, if you watched the first live stream, and if you did, thank you very much. Thanks for coming back. The thing that was amazing is we opened the doors for the open qualifying for this, the World Qualifying Final then. And since then, we've had something like over 500 players check in around the world, fighting for just these 32 spots. And they did something ridiculous, like over 35,000 laps in that time. Some people did almost half that.
I mean, 35,000 laps by the 32 that qualified tonight.
Oh, incredible.
In total, it took me a long time to add it up. Over 80,000 laps was set in total, and one player did 2,500.
Wow. So well done to all of you if you were involved. And so let's just explain what's just happened, Ben. We had whittled down the 32 to the final 16.
Yeah, well, we had a few issues last time we did our stream. We didn't want to spend all night with you guys, so we decided to do 32 down to 16 off stream, and then we'll get into the racing very, very soon. This is how they lined up before we eliminated half of the field. The left-hand side of the guys who qualified through firstly the Beijing track and then the London track. So the top half of that's Beijing, the bottom half of that is London, and then on the right-hand side are those top 16 players who had the best combined times.
Right.
So that's the way they look there. They were matched up by their pace. So Niels was the very fastest man out of everybody. He faced the slowest man out of our 32.
So there was a kind of seeding there.
There was there was a thought process that went into this.
And literally for the last hour and a half, we've been fighting these matchups. And we now have a result of how the 32 have now got down to the 16. And there you go. There's some surprises there. If some big names have been knocked out, but there are some big, strong names still fighting to get that second place to go to Mexico to join James here.
I think, James, the biggest surprise for me in there is Kirill Burkov beating Martin Stefanko.
Stefanko, yeah, definitely. Alexander Dorniaden, I thought, he's got to be a favourite. He done it last year, got to the actual final in Riyadh, it wasn't it? But yeah, there's some big names out there. But the favourites, I still think, are in the competition, which is exciting for us.
It was a shock to see Stefanko go, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, because he's grown up racing on the Assetto Corsa. That's where he's originally from. Done the virtual racing series or whatever it was called, and he's an F1 esports driver for Haas. So he's got to be of some talent to get there.
But it just shows how good the quality is, because he is gone, and now we've got the two sides of the draw to get through to the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, and then of course the final to decide tonight's winner. So that's already just a quick look at that on the left side of the draw. That top half is strong.
You've got Niels and potentially Sebastian Job meeting in the quarterfinals, and you could arguably say, from seeing the qualifying, that could be a final. So there's a big driver being knocked out there. Gogo Boldy, I'll put him down as one of the favourites as well.
Okay.
So I think he'll have a nice route to the final, but it's going to be interesting.
And then the other side of the draw, let's have a look at that. I think the right-hand side is very, very strong. We're going to lose some big names by the time we hit the semi-final over here.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Wisniewski, Bollock Bassi, Carroll, McIntyre. There's big names everywhere, isn't there? And that's going to be the more exciting half of the table, definitely, I think.
No offence to the first half of the table. So,
that's the first one.
And just to explain, I know there's a lot to take in, but some of you out there are smarter than us. This is a brand new sort of blank canvas, because they're driving the Riyadh track.
Yeah. So basically, what happened was we shut down the London and the Rallycross car on Wednesday, and then we contacted the best 32. We gave them the Riyadh track. And we gave them the Vool, which is a complete exclusive car for Assetto Corsa. So fantastic build that we've done of the Vool machine. They had, 48 hours to practice.
And this is the Vool. So talk us through this. What do we learn about how they're jumping into this fresh, never driven it before? Yeah,
Mexican built, very stiff machine. So it doesn't have a lot of rotation, very hard to get it to turn. And I think some of the drivers have really found it tricky to get it to turn through this very fiddly track. You've actually had a bit of a practice on it, James. How did you find it?
Yeah, it was tough. The car just understeers. You got to really let off the throttle, use lift off oversteer to get the car to turn in. You've got to change down the gears early to get the car to turn in. It's a real handful.
Yeah.
Wow, especially on the circuit as well, which is, of course, does have the classic sort of figure of eight. It's got the bridge and the tunnel, inside lane, outside lane, separating in the infield and coming back twice. So I think we should be ready to start looking at the first matchups and get our first race underway. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited. And thanks again. Keep your comments coming in. It's nice to hear from you guys, and let us know who you think is going to be our winner tonight of the eROC World Qualifying Final, and join this guy in Mexico, and Sebastian Vettel and Mick Schumacher and everyone who's going to be there as well, driving in Race of Champions. They'll be in eROC. So should we get started?
Yes.
Is this happening?
Let's do it.
We'll get it. We'll get it going in a second. They'll just. So this is going to be Niels.
Okay.
Who, if you don't know Niels, because a lot like James said, who is this guy? I've never heard of him. That's because he was racing sims basically before you were born. 2007, 8, 9, Live for Speed champion.
A game of which I've never even heard of.
There you go.
Okay. So he's pretty much come out of retirement to race here. He wants to go to
Right, so that's a good start then from the Orange Machine, which is Niels, German, 33 years of age, Czech Republic alongside him from R Factor 2, Yuri Toman, and Toman is in the White Machine. Let's see how we get on through this long right hand at the end of the lap, and we don't think there's much of an offset between the two lanes. 28 we saw in the 32 matches, and 27.8 from Niels. That's super impressive already.
Now this is tough because they're the first. They're like the guinea pigs. They've just had one round of. They've managed to get through, and of course the thing to make clear is this is best of 3. So if Niels wins this, which it looks like he's about to, yes he does.
And a 52.1 is as fast as we've seen so far around this track. We got a 52.1 from Sebastian Job and Graham Carroll in the 32 matches, but Niels was nowhere near that. In fact, he made a mistake in his first race, but he's really got his A game out now.
Yeah, that.
No, go.
No, I mean, Niels, I was expecting something quick, but yeah, he's not really left a lot on the table there. That's already really fast. I'd say a high 51 is the benchmark, what you're looking at.
Okay.
But yeah, as I expected, Niels won that.
So this is a different thing though, right? Because they've been setting thousands upon thousands of laps, and every time they make a mistake, they can just press reset and go again. Tonight, though, they have to nail those laps every single time, so you kind of have to drive a little bit within yourself.
Definitely. Because there's so much on the line, you don't want to make any mistake. So that's...
And what I love that is it kind of echoes very, very precisely what happens in Race of Champions among the drivers, because they're stepping into a car that they don't necessarily know that well, a track that they've only had a few practice laps on, but they have to deliver and get that balance between pushing for a victory but being careful enough not to throw it away with making a mistake. And that's exactly what these guys are doing here, and what you did so well back in December to make it through, is that fine balance between pushing but not over pushing.
That's it.
Yeah. Make sure you join us on Facebook and YouTube. That's where we're streaming. Please comment below and talk to us. You know how it is. It's nice to have company. And off we go. Not a very good start there from Niels. Clearly starting in first gear. Now, that was one of the big things that we found in the Invitational, was starting in second gear gave you a better drive off the line. A very early snatch of second gear from Niels, but it hasn't done him any harm by the looks of things at the moment.
It looks like he's taking it really careful there through the infield section. Yuri there, just almost a little bit too tiptoeing around, which has put a bit of the advantage Niels' way.
Ooh, still close though. Just Niels' advantage, but Yuri Toma, I think, was very fast out of that final corner, so he had a lot of momentum going down the start, finishing straight. He is a former sim racer from R Factor 2, so a Live for Speed veteran versus an R Factor 2 driver. It's shorter on the inside line, but more momentum on the outside, and Niels has taken it. A 52.3, slower than that first race, but he goes through.
So we have our first winner of the evening, so that's what our first quarter finalist is Niels, and well done, Niels. And it's interesting that the quality of this, the sort of the unusual nature of this competition that we're pulling together, drivers, sim racers from all different kinds of platforms, it is attractive, isn't it, to people who maybe stopped doing it, full time a while ago, to come back. I mean, talk about the carrot.
I mean, yeah, you have the best drivers, say, in F1, but they're always the best drivers just on F1 or on Forza or on GT Sport. This brings them all together, in theory, the best 32 there is. And that's why you've got so many people watching, it's attractive.
Very good. So that we have our first quarter finalist.
Well, and that. Without getting weird.
It will eventually by the end of the evening.
But that's a strong start from Nils, and you don't know of him. He's not kind of been in your world.
I never heard of him before this event. No.
So you've got to think that this early first blood from him makes him a strong contender.
I knew he was going to be strong just from seeing his qualifying times.
Exactly.
Yeah. He was half a second faster across the 2 tracks than anybody else, and he was the fastest man. I don't think he was the fastest man overall on London, but he was in Beijing, and so his overall time half a second better than anybody else.
Wow.
And he's basically not raced, I think, for the last couple of years. He sent a picture of his rig, which was a fold-up seat. And
fair play.
It just goes to show, there's a lot of amazing kit here. But
you don't necessarily need it.
Exactly. On the Twitter feed, we were showing pictures. People were sharing pictures of what their rig was like, and his was one of the most basic.
Yeah.
But he's already qualified. He's into the quarterfinals. So it's not a question of having to have all the gear. By the way, feel free to send us pictures of where you're watching, what your rig is like. If you were one of the people in the 32 that didn't make it to the 16. Thanks for sticking with us. We're disappointed for you, but send us a picture of how you're commiserating yourself. So there we go. We are.
Right.
Niels goes through and Toman goes out. The next one is. Now you mentioned him earlier. Is Job? Is it Job?
Job.
Okay.
Sebastian
Job. Oh, because I get confused. I think it's going to be like Sebastian Loeb, the 9-time world rally.
No, I think it is. I have no idea.
Oh right, okay. Like
I'm never going to take my pronunciation cues from you, Ben.
No
the
way.
rally driver, yeah.
So are we?
Sebastian Job is the 17th ranked, the 17th best iRacing driver right now at this moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Member of G2.
Yeah.
He's a top driver.
Okay.
Part of the G2 team. We've got about 3 or 4 of them actually on the stream tonight, so watch out for those. Niels is kind of an honorary member because he used to be a teammate to the guy who runs it, which is quite cute. It's quite nice. Sebastian beat Leslie Oliphant, who is a champion over in South Africa on R Factor 2, to get into this next race, and he will take on Giancarlo Rigadio, who is an Assetto Corsa specialist from Chile.
Ah.
So Sebastian Job's got the quickest time so far, isn't he?
Yeah.
With a 52 52.1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty much equalled with Graham, but it was close.
Yeah.
So while we wait for the next race, we've got a few questions coming in. Which rig did James use? That's coming from Mike. What
I
rig?
actually have a GT Omega with a Fanatec wheel and pedals, and there is a handbrake and a shifter as well, but for the Race of Champions it wasn't necessary.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, there is one hairpin, so you could have used the handbrake if you
Could've,
felt
but
bold.
maybe I wouldn't be sat here.
Yeah, good point. Thanks to Silvan, who says, Go Williams Esports. Socrates says, hello from Valparaiso in Chile.
Hello.
There we go. So welcome wherever. Let us know where you are in the world. I know we've got people watching in Australia, where it's good morning. Good morning to you. And, of course, people in South America, where it's also more early afternoon.
I just realised dinner hasn't turned up yet.
No.
Thank you very much to Veloce, who've hosted us today. We've turned their office upside down to be able to do this. And go onto our Twitter channel and you'll be able to see the backstage, the photos of various of our team members have been taking. It's quite a surprise, isn't it, James, to see what goes on behind the scenes?
Absolutely. Yeah. I won't go into it, but
you said you expected to see one man with a computer, a laptop, and that was it.
yeah, there was a few more than one man. There was
there is still a few
wires everywhere.
Well, that's nice.
Here's a guy that's coming through a bit later on, Jack McIntyre.
Yeah.
Lots of pressure. He's got a bit of whiskey lined up beside his rig for later, just to relax himself. He is through, but he beat your teammate, Veloce Donovan.
Damn you, Jack. Damn you. No, he's want to race finalist, which is a real life Ginetta scholarship. So he's obviously going to be very good if he gets to the final in a real car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which would be interesting.
And it's nice to see that in that 16, we've got quite a few people with real car experience. We've got Graham Carroll, who's won the Walter Hayes Trophy in Formula Ford. He actually trained Sebastian Job. Sebastian
in the JMR scholarship, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's been with. You've done a bit of Formula Ford racing as well, right?
Yeah, in 2015 I'd done 3 months worth, so that was 2 races and 3 practice sessions.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, the budget ran out, that's all. But it was worth the experience, definitely.
And then we have Gaetan Peitu, who has raced at Le Mans.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so
it's a different level, isn't it?
It is an amazing level. It's amazing to see these kind of people who've had that level of experience going in and entering and doing the same kind of competition that guys from Indonesia and some of the other less experienced people like Jack McIntyre has done.
Yeah.
So a big shout out to all of Cem Balıkbaşı's fans in YouTube watching in Turkey. Big shout out to you. Thanks for watching us en masse in Turkey. We are ready to go for match 2.
Raggio and Job, Chile versus the UK. Sebastian Job expecting to be one of the favourites, and they go through into turn 1. Where are they? There they are. We follow Giancarlo, a little bit of a wiggle over the bridge. It's a bridge that had a chicane when we were at the King Fahd Stadium a year ago, but we take the chicane away. And we go round through to the second turn. In fact, Raggio needs to win this because, unbeknown to us, we've had a race already. Oh, and he's in the wall. Raggio just kissing the wall just a little bit there. He got away with it, but he needs to beat Job, otherwise Job will go through. Coming now, we follow Sebastian Job towards the line. It's going to be close, but I think more momentum around the outside. Oh, very, very close. But Job does take it, a 52.1, equaling the best lap time that he did last time through. Close. And Sebastian Job goes through.
Wow, so through our very high-tech information delivery system, we found out that, there was a race which we didn't screen.
We were talking over.
Yeah.
Just
tell us if you want us to stop talking.
Yeah, please do.
So does that mean Sebastian's through?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you flagged him up early doors as a favourite.
Yeah, I would have put a tenner at least on him.
Would you?
Yeah.
Wow.
But that was both drivers
Big money.
Quick times.
Is that 10 pesos for when you go to Mexico?
I tell you what, though, Niels versus Sebastian Job, that's going to be horrifically competitive.
Yes. Yeah.
And actually, in terms of time, Sebastian's got it at the moment, just a little bit faster.
100th or what?
Yeah, if he can be that consistent. So there we go. That's the first quarterfinal sorted.
Wow. That's going to be, I would have called that for the final.
Amazing.
So before you saw the draw and realised they're in the same bit.
Yeah.
So, and just give us an idea, because they're so close on time, once it gets down to going head to head, how important is, time when you're facing the sort of psychological pressure of going up against someone that you know is within a tenth of what you can do?
I think you can prepare yourself for that. Mm-hmm. It's when you don't expect them to be quick. That's when it gets difficult.
Right.
Which I found with Aurelian.
Yeah.
He's a quick driver in Forza, but I didn't expect him to be quick on Assetto Corsa, and it really took me by surprise.
I think he surprised everyone, actually.
Yeah.
Even the guys from G2 were surprised at the pace that he showed, because he normally uses his fingers and pads. He doesn't use his hands.
Yeah.
And
well, the thing is, he was doing 49s for the races going up to my one. I was doing 48s, and I was like, I've got this in the bag. Then he pulled out a 48. And
so you were watching the stream as well?
Yeah. Just to be informed of who's quick and who's not.
Okay. So now we've got Daniel Shields is in this next matchup, I think. So have you raced against him? Do you know him?
He races for VP, doesn't he? He's done a bit of F1. But we're about to find out.
Yeah, so this is a really interesting one, because Kirill Burkov, an R Factor 2 Formula Sim racing driver, and not a very good start at all by Daniel Shields. Looks like he's already in third gear there, sort of stuttered off the line. Daniel Shields has done iRacing, virtual sim racing, and as they say, part of the VP community, all the way from Australia, Norfolk Blue on Australia, and on Twitter. And so this is going to be an interesting one. I don't think we really expected to see Birkov in the race, because he had Stefanko to go up against. But Stefanko didn't bring out his A game, and we have this very, very interesting matchup.
Shields is way ahead here.
What do we reckon? It was sort of 7 o'clock in the morning over in Australia for Daniel?
Yeah.
At least he didn't have to get out of bed too early. Oh, he's really been very slow through there. I think Birkov has the better line on the inside line, and he does take it. It's a pretty slow race, to be fair, but the Russian is a real surprise tonight.
Yeah, that's a quick time, 52.6. Looked like he made a mistake at the start as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Really surprised by that.
And I mean, he's already impressed tonight by knocking out Stefanko, who is, of course, an F1 esports driver. So, not only is he... It wasn't a fluke, basically, that he got down to the 16.
That's the way a tournament works, though, isn't it? You got a round of 32 that could be quicker than one of the quarterfinals. It's just the way it works, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Daniel really does have to raise his game for the second matchup because, of course, it's best of 3. So he needs to deliver a victory this time, or else he is done.
Yeah, it just looked weird. That start looked really odd, didn't it? For me, it looked like he went to 3rd gear, or he was struggling with the gears or something, because you could see the car nod.
Yeah,
as it
and
went
then
off the
it
line.
bogged down, didn't it?
Yeah, so a strange one, I think.
Okay, let's see if he can do it. Daniel, you've got people rooting for you. Mary Law on Facebook has said, "Go Daniel." So let's go Daniel. Let's see.
Go Daniel.
Go on,
Daniel.
Let's explain. One of the reasons he might have been tentative on the start line is, of course, if you do a full start, if you cross the start line before the lights are fully engaged, the start procedure, your car just explodes and disappears. That's what happens. That didn't happen to you, but
Thank God.
someone full started next to you, I think.
Yanni did in the final. Yeah.
So,
that was probably one of the best moments of my life.
I think the Germans call it Schadenfreude, and the English word for that is epic curiosity, I think. Anyway, yeah, so Daniel Shields has to win this, or else he is going home. He's already.
And there it is, the first one of the night. Daniel Shields then in the orange machine, Birkov and on the outside. As you notice, we're alternating the cars, so you'll start on the inside and then you'll start on the outside to make it as fair as possible. And Daniel Shields therefore has the orange car now. Don't worry about the car crabbing. That's just a character of if their internet connection isn't particularly good. So he's not driving a car that's bent. It's just the way it is. Very close to the barrier.
This is much better than in race 1. I think Daniel is looking strong to even the score in this one.
We'd like to see it. We'd like him to go to 3. We had a couple of 3 races in the 32 matches, but so far it hasn't gone to 3 in these match of 16. We're watching Kirill Birkov.
Last corner.
No, Shields is way behind. He's way behind. Tries to get on the power. The car steps out, but he's too far back, and Birkov goes through.
So unlucky. That's a good day to Daniel Shields, and well done to Birkov. Amazing. Kirill is just, he's a giant killer.
He looks strong, doesn't he?
So what we need to learn some more about him. If you know more information about Kirill Birkov, tell us, because he's a dark horse. He's come in. We weren't expecting him to get this far. He's already in the quarterfinals, and it's guaranteed he'll face either Job or Norjox.
It's important to note that our fact that iRacing, these sims teach you how to drive properly in a way.
Okay.
So you can transfer skills over quite well.
Interesting.
That's maybe why he's very good tonight.
Okay. All right, now we've got our final match on the left-hand side of the round of 16. This is Mohammed Alif, who is from Singapore, against Gergo Baldi from Hungary. Now, we don't know a huge amount about Mohammed Alif.
No, a massive fan of the competition. He's, from the very beginning, he was online, setting times, interacting with us, talking to us, asking us questions, super keen, a massive Hamilton fan. His Twitter handle is Hamilton44 Alif, I think. So it's great to have that international flavour. And he's shown his worth because he beat Patrick Adamczyk in the round of 32. And Adamczyk is somebody we know from Project Cars 2, we know from GT Sport. He's a
Gamer tag was TX3 Popsu, I believe, before he left TX3, Now he's a sole trader.
He's a sole trader, but he's well known in the industry. He's well known as a multi-platform guy. And Alif is a real dark horse, qualified as one of the Asian too, and that's
what's been so good about this is since we launched it and made it an open competition around the world, is so many people have jumped online and got cracking on the laps for this. Just a word about Gergo Baldi. He's much more used to kind of touring car than single seaters.
I've been racing him for about a year really, like 2018, and here we go.
Okay, on the line. Let's wait for the light to. All 6 lights go red, then they go out. That's when you launch off the line. Do you reckon that was a start in second or in first gear for both of them?
I think second.
Okay, let's have a look.
So we're watching the blue car of Mohammed Alif. Blue car?
Blue?
It's not blue.
Ben, are you all right?
No,
I'm seeing red. I don't know what you're seeing.
I'm hungry.
Basically.
No, I mean, he's from Hungary, is what I mean.
There we go.
He's there all night.
It's close, and Mohammed has the pace here over Gergo Baldi.
Come on, Alif.
Gergo Baldi has real car experience as well. He's raced in the Suzuki Swift Cup and champion, I think, in 2016. So he's got sim and real experience. Another of those guys. Mohammed Alif, I'm sure he doesn't. But look at 27.9 on the first lap. That's super fast. And he comes around the outside. He has to keep the momentum here. It's a shorter line on the inside. It's very, very close to the line.
Oh, that is close.
And it is Gergo Baldi who takes it.
So he did. He really pulled it out. I mean, that was the last half of that race.
Yeah.
Gergo was well on the back foot, and he properly delivered.
Yeah, I mean, definitely from the times you can tell they were starting in second. If they were in first, they'd be 2 or 3 tenths slower.
Okay.
So yeah, that's
But
a
that
good
was
race.
another thing that you seemed to be particularly strong, is you had half a lap where you found so much more pace than other people, and you can have a kind of a half a lap favourite because one is much wider and flowing, and the other one's much more fiddly.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of what was it, Beijing, that final corner really was my strong point because you had to get the car sideways to get it rotated, and not many of the drivers really wanted to do that. So yeah, that's why the second half of the lap was so strong.
On the outside or on the inside?
Inside.
The inside.
Okay, all right, interesting.
And with this Vool, it's so important to get the car rotating.
Right.
Because otherwise you just sit there ploughing on with understeer, and it's horrible.
That long corner on the outside is horrible in that car. It really is awful.
Okay, let's get race 2 underway. We really need to see something special out of Muhammad Alif now if he's going to beat Gergo Baldi into the quarterfinals. The lights go out.
Off we go then. And again, I think that looked like a second gear start. There wasn't too many snatching at gears as they went into the first corners. We're watching the white car this time for Gergo Baldi. Muhammad Alif is on the orange machine. And it just looks so tentative, but that's what you've got to be through these corners. Neat and tidy. It's a tight circuit. It's narrow. It's going to be quite different when we go to Mexico. That's going to be much faster, much more open. I think Gergo just had a little bit of understeer there and perhaps touched the wall on the outside, but if you really use the wall to your advantage, then we'll disqualify you. But for the moment, it's just little mistakes here and there. Muhammad Alif still doesn't look right, but the car obviously is streaming to us slightly strangely. That's why it looks odd. It's going to be close.
Faster on the outside.
It's going to be close. I think Gergo Baldi just has a more tighter line on the inside there, and he does take it. But again, look how close the matches is. Gergo 2-0. He does take victory, but
Exactly the same times.
Really?
52.6, 52.7.
So it shows consistency is the key. But if they're gonna, if Gergo's gonna have to deliver in the sort of quarter final, he's gonna have to have slightly quicker times.
Yeah.
Especially if he gets through to the semis against Niels or Sebastian.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's the three, or Norjok's, Job and Gergo Baldi have car experience. So any one of them is going to be dangerous if they get to the finals in Mexico to challenge myself and whoever else goes there.
Yeah, exactly.
But thank you very much to Muhammad Ali for coming and joining us and for all your enthusiasm. And let's hope that this is the very beginning of your full-on sim racing career.
And let's not forget that we are awarding a wild card entry to one of the drivers that has been as part of this competition. So as long as you entered, you have still the opportunity to come to Mexico if Race of Champions as a organisation decides that you would be suitable. The winner comes, James, and the winner tonight.
Yeah.
But there are 2 wildcard spots as well. You just had to be part of the competition.
So if you hear that, that's a very good thing. We've had a nice message from Kimi Räikkönen. I'm not sure if it's actually the Kimi Räikkönen. It's very unlikely. But he's just said he's supporting the Turkish driver Cem
Bolotbashi.
Yeah. So thanks, Kimi, Kitos, but I presume it's not actually you.
Let's pretend it is.
And Phil Kinch, the TCR guru. Nice to see you. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. And you'll be pleased to see that Gergo went through because that's your neck of the woods. Right, touring cars. Yeah. So, are we ready for the next match up? Here we go. We are racing through this literally. Let's have a go.
I know.
Let's get to
galloping.
the track.
We are galloping.
Just to recap, if you've just joined us, where have you been? But we are the eROC World Qualifying Final. This is the King Fahad Stadium, the location of last year's Race of Champions, 2018, to decide who goes through to Mexico in 2 weeks' time to race for real in the Foro Sol part of the Mexico Stadium where Race of Champions will be. This is Jack McIntyre against...
Big names, both of them. Really, really close between these two. Jack McIntyre, not necessarily a big name in sim racing at the moment, but he has really showed so much promise and so much commitment to this particular event. And Nicodem is just a couple of tenths behind us. Very fast lap time
a bit
from
about
McIntyre.
About Wisniewski, though, a little word about him. He's, of course, Williams GT Academy. So he should be strong here. So what are you seeing? What's going on here, James? What do you think's happening?
I think Wisniewski may struggle to adapt because touring cars are notoriously front-wheel drive, and this is a rear-wheel drive car. It's completely different. But here we go.
Whoa.
Jack McIntyre, wow. Quick times.
That's good. We even got a woo from the guys over there who are monitoring the race. It's good to know they're still alive. to be honest.
So hungry.
That was really good. And that's
Yeah.
the closest, I think, so far. The fastest time so far?
52.0.
So fastest time. And we haven't had a 52.0 yet, have we?
No.
Not tonight.
No.
So well done. That's a great result.
You reckon you can do 51s though, don't you? But
I don't want to
this
give too much
situation.
away. 51.7 is my personal best.
But after a couple of laps.
Yeah, I've done about 200 laps.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
yeah, it takes a lot.
Yeah.
And
Commitment and risk.
I love the dedication and commitment. And you were telling me before we started the live stream that you'd worked out that who was it that had done like a week's work?
Rayan
This is
Derucci.
live maths. Go.
Rayan Derucci done 2,714 laps, I believe, which equates to 39.26 hours. That's a working week. For the
And that's
standard
just
person,
track
isn't it?
time. That's just track
Go
time.
So you've got
Around,
loading menus as
Loading
well.
in.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot more than 39.26 hours.
So that's the kind of dedication that has got these races to this point. And so this is the big decider now.
Right, Nikodem Wisniewski needs a win here. Williams eSport driver, plenty of experience across multiple different platforms, from rallying to GT Sport. He was GT Academy Central Europe winner a few years ago. A big name in the world of esports, and Jack McIntyre really isn't, but for this competition has absolutely thrown the kitchen sink at it, and he is 1-0 up. And this has been the fastest race so far last time through. It's even faster this time from Wisniewski, a 27.6. Now, this is really on the kind of performance you might see after 200 laps, not after 3 laps. And it's going to be one of the bigger races that we've had so far.
Wow.
Clumsy from McIntyre,
Wow.
really messy from McIntyre on the inside line of the white car. Wisniewski comes towards the line. It's going to be super close once more. McIntyre gets it again.
Ridiculous.
Wow.
And we were doing that. We were racing that with
The
him.
poor sofa. Wisniewski must have had a bad second lap because his first lap, 27.6,
Ooh.
is my personal best around the first
Wow.
lap.
Yeah.
So he was on course for a 51 and he must have messed it up.
I think we saw him cutting the grass, didn't we, on the outside line, and maybe just unsettling the car a little bit. We saw a puff of smoke. So Nikodem goes home. Jack continues in this
Wow.
competition. And again, he's another man. Lovely, lovely guy online, tweeting, getting involved, making suggestions. He's really been part of this community throughout the last month. And
So there we go.
Is through.
So we have another quarter-finalist on the right-hand side of the draw. Now, who is he going to face in the quarter-finals? Is it Mallet or Soderberg? What do we know about Mallet and Soderberg?
Well, what do we know? Come on.
We know a lot about Mallet, don't we? Too much. He's very quick, obviously, not just on Forza, but on every discipline, it seems. And the alternative driver, I forgot the name of him now.
Hampus. So he's
Never
Finnish,
heard of him, but
Audi TT Cup champion. He's
Yeah,
dirt.
again, looks skilled in multiple disciplines. So it's going to be interesting, definitely.
Wow. Here we go.
VP
Thanks for all of your tweets, comments, and everything. We are loving it to see so much interactivity on what is for us here in London a Saturday night. But wherever you are,
And that's Norfolk Blue, so that's, what is it, Sunday morning in Australia?
yeah.
I'm not in Norfolk.
Well,
you know?
no. Well, it's named after it. They were all English ones.
That was Ben Coster who said that.
It's true.
British, maybe.
Hopefully the weather's nicer there.
Yeah.
And apart from the massive Aboriginal population as well.
Yes.
So let's not forget that. But yeah, probably the naming protocols of the places in Australia are largely Europe-based. Should we just say that that's the most politically correct way to deal with that, Ben?
Moving on.
Right, racing. Aurélien Mallet versus Hampus Soderberg.
Now, Mallet, we saw challenge for the very, very best. Really put James under a huge amount of pressure a couple of weeks ago, and could have easily got himself through on the Invitational. Just beaten by James in the end. Different car though, this Voul to the KTM. A beautiful looking machine. I do love the way the Voul looks. And Mallet in the orange machine has a massive advantage over Hampus Soderberg. Oh, and it's fast too. 27.4. He's just done you by 0.2 of a second, James.
You better get back downstairs.
I'm off now. See you boys later.
Now, can he keep it up in the second half of the lap? We know that one half is perhaps a favoured to the other one. We're watching Hampus Soderberg in the white machine, but on the orange machine on the inside, it's easily Aurélien Mallet.
Wow.
G2 are having a night to remember.
See,
Second half of the lap's not massively strong, though.
no. I mean,
He didn't
with
quite
that
bring
time,
down the
you're
mallet,
looking
did
at
he?
a mid 51 with that first lap.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
he's, I don't know. second lap's obviously not there for them.
So do you think that that is something that they struggle with the second half? If it's not the fast flowing, if they have to deal with the tight infield, then that's not quite where they're finding the
It
tense?
might be the driving style.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I wasn't as quick as that in the first lap, but maybe I'm a bit quicker in the second. I don't know.
And it's for feel as well, isn't it? When you've got the faster corners, you need to have a really good feel of what the car's doing.
Yeah.
And then the slower corners, you need to have that feel of it rotating.
Yeah.
So
I noticed with this car, you've got to be in a higher gear than you'd think to get round corners, just because if you're in first, going around a hairpin, it restricts the engine. So
Yeah.
you're not actually going as quick as you could.
Well, it's got a great supercharger on it.
Yeah.
So that supercharger
You
Yeah.
need to
punches.
use it.
a bit
It
of a
needs to
lump,
be
innit?
in there.
You
Yeah.
need to use it. Oh, it's very good facts there, James. I like that. And what's interesting as well is these cars, when the drivers drive them for real in Race of Champions around that circuit, that the Vool does get a nice bit of air over the bridge, and it does always rock up, land, and then rock down, land. And obviously when you're driving it, and you've got real driving experience, of course, there's a lot of feel in your buttocks, in the seat, in the G-force. How do you compensate for that when you're not quite sure whether you've got the grip, whether you're...
Because you can't feel it.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you have force feedback. That gives you a lot, and you get used to that after a while.
Okay.
But here we go, match 2.
Okay.
So this time we'll have Hampus Soderberg in the white machine and Mallet in the orange machine. So they swap lanes and they head off towards that first turn. And this is where I think a few people would like to just kiss the grass on the inside there, where Mallet has gone through now. A lock up from Soderberg.
Front right.
That means he's loading up the car right. The car is so stiff. It's such an incredibly good car and such incredibly chassis that it's so stiff that's why you need to make it rotate and move around.
And you haven't got to save your tyres. I mean, this is a time trial. This is one full lap to win or go home. So you don't have to worry about your tyres.
Yeah, Mallet's made a mistake somewhere because that's a very slow first half of the lap. And Soderberg's found some time, but of course he's on a different lane to how he was before. So it's going to be interesting to see how this ends up. Lots of speed from Mallet around the outside.
Mallet might have this.
No, Soderberg's got the inside line, and he comes to the line, and
Wow.
Mallet does it. All right, I'll shut up there.
It's definitely awkward starting on the outside like Aurelian did then.
Yeah.
You're going into the first corner, which is the long outside one, and you have to change gear at an awkward time.
Right.
Whereas in the inside layout, you're
Interesting.
you're much more comfortable.
McIntyre and Mallet in quarter-final 3 is going to be a tasty one.
Very
but,
tasty.
This whole thing is tasty. Look at the next one. Palatu, who is a Le Mans driver, raced in the actual Le Mans, and Cem Boluk-Bashi, who's raced for Formula 1 Toro Rosso.
It's got a huge fan base as well watching back in Turkey.
Yeah.
Thanks, Actual Vision, for getting in touch. It says that Jack win is the first big upset of the night. So the people are watching this and understanding that, wow, they did not expect Jack to get through.
I mean, what a place or what a thing to announce your name on, though.
Yeah.
You know, the Race of Champions. It shows how open it is to everyone.
Yep. And that's the idea. Great to have Oscaro Esports following us. Thank you very much. And hi to Kevin. Hi to Kevin and the team. And great to have you guys following us this evening. Obviously, great representation at the last Race of Champions.
Now, earlier, this next matchup, sorry to talk over you, Ben. This next matchup, I put a tweet out earlier at Neil Cole asking if any of you people who are going to be racing tonight could give me any facts about interesting behind the scenes, because of course in the world of motorsport we kind of get, Ben and I working out and interviewing drivers, you tend to find out things about them, like what colour socks they wear on a race day or what they eat for breakfast. So I put that out to the competitors today, and the only thing I got back was that Gaetan Palatu has a bunny.
Oh, right.
So I think now I presume that means he owns a pet bunny.
Did he win it at Le Mans? Or?
I don't know. So
wow.
That's the only fact that came back. So thanks, guys.
I mean, it's good to know, though. That's good insight into a driver who's going into the Race of Champions.
It means that he cares about a living creature, presuming that it is a rabbit.
I don't know how to follow that up.
So if you've got any more facts about the drivers, but now let's see how they deliver their message via the right foot. Here we go. Let's get another race underway. Gaetan Palatu versus Cem Boluk-Bashi. Now this is a big matchup, and we know that Cem has a huge amount of fans watching in Turkey, a big following on social media. So
France versus Turkey here. We had 4 French drivers start this evening, sorry, and we had 4 British drivers as well. I think we've eliminated half each. But let's see how our French GT Academy winner from a few years ago, Nissan Works driver because of that, and it was a bit of a surprise for me to see his name come up on the leaderboard a couple of weeks ago, and he's put in so much effort to get himself in a good position.
That is very close.
And it's fast as well.
How does that compare to your time, Gaetan's time?
Gaetan is 2 tenths off what I done and 4 tenths off what Aurelian did moments ago.
Okay.
But if you're noticing, they're staying off the curbs, and that's really important in this car, because it's not equipped for the curbs, no. It's not soft enough.
Okay.
As Ben was saying, it's so stiff.
And the curbs are horrible too.
Yeah.
They're aggressive. It's going to be close. It's Chembol Bassi takes race 1 by 2.5 tenths of a second.
But again, it's an under 52.1. They've gone 52.0.
Yeah.
That's a
Who's
good time.
going to be the first to break into the 51s?
Yeah, especially on this in this kind of environment.
You tell us.
I'm going job.
Are you?
Yeah.
You think he's going to do it?
I've got a tenner on him now, so I've got to go with him, haven't I?
Wow. You could all, if you want to double down on that, go for a 20, like Ray Winston would say. Go match, bet in play. £10. Yeah, go 20. Go 40. Go 100. That's not double. Thank you.
There are people around the world watching this having absolutely no idea what's
happening.
I think they know who Ray Winston is.
Even in Turkey.
Yeah, I reckon.
What's Ray Winston's name in Turkey?
Ray Winston. It's the same.
Boom.
It's just like your Ben Constanduras everywhere around the world. Everyone knows you.
That's true, yeah.
Everyone knows who you are. Okay, let's go. Let's see what happens in race 2 of this matchup.
Alrighty. Gaetan needs this.
And remember, they've switched around, switched cars, switched lanes. Oh, great start from both.
Bollock Bassi, the better one, though.
Yeah, and the changing of the gears there from Gaetan didn't look very comfortable at all. He's now on the outside lane in the orange machine. They have swapped lanes again for fairness, so that they are race on both sides of the track. And if we do have a 3, which we actually haven't so far, then they'll switch again. Bollock Bassi in the white machine around the outside line. Remember, if you get the 27s on this first lap, you're doing well. He has done a lot. This Chem is looking mega strong.
Yeah, really good.
Strong. I really expected Gaetan to have more pace than this. He's got no answer right now.
But he's Toro Rosso, isn't he? I mean, he's no slouch.
Yeah, and again, he's G2, so presumably they would have practiced together, so the times are going to be similar, you would have thought.
G2 have got 3 hands on the trophy at the moment. They come to the line and Chem has taken it. He's in the 51s!
It's 51s?
First time in the 51s.
We have to have a round of
applause. Well done, Chem Bollock Bassi.
Did you think we'd see a sub 52, honestly?
Yes. Yeah. Speaking to certain drivers, they already said they'd done that in practice.
Okay.
So.
But the pressure's on. I mean, this is a live stream being watched by literally millions of people. So, the pressure's on.
Yeah, and that's why a top driver like Chem will pull that out of the bag in a really pressured situation.
But we have to say au revoir to Gaetan, which is a shock. It's a big scalp.
Yeah, a real surprise.
Okay, so we're now down to our final match of the round of 16. It's just flying by.
It's getting
I
intense,
hope you're enjoying it as much as we are. And, of course, keep your comments coming in. There we go. Alif, yes. Thank you very much. You did really, really well done. And we will, see you next year.
Absolutely.
Come and visit. Just come here. There's plenty of room. Come and hang out. Food's just arrived, which everyone else is now eating, but we can't eat because we're talking to you. So that's the Alif. You could have some of the food. Come round.
Come round. There's loads.
This is very funny. Sebastian Job has said James knows his stuff, and that's because you have put money on him. And he's saying so. That's how interactive this show is.
We're off. Arthur Camera and Graham Carroll. Graham Carroll, of course, needs really no introduction. Vegas E-Racer. He's already driven a Formula E car version 1. He's raced in Formula Ford and won at the Walter Hayes Trophy in real life. And then he's also a Red Bull esports driver in the Formula 1 esports series. And lots of other experience. Oh, someone's lost it on the inside.
Yeah, that was Graham. Massive slide. He saved it. It was a great save, but he has lost time because of it. That was a huge drift.
As well as he. I think that might have made the difference.
So Arthur Camera capitalising a little bit on a mistake there by Graham Carroll. But how difficult is it to save it? And he was a full-on drift.
Again. Yeah.
He's trying to get that car rotated. He's using the power to make it turn. And maybe it's just done enough. Again, a bit of a slide. Comes to the line.
He was fully crossed up on the steering wheel as well.
I'm not sure who won that. I thought Graham won it, and then it switched around again.
I thought Graham looked very close. We'll get confirmation from the producers.
I wonder if there's been a steward's inquiry. Maybe he touched a wall.
He was using a lot of wall.
I think it might have been a driving style thing because he'd done it more than twice.
So you don't think it was a mistake? You think he's decided he's going to drift?
Driving style has turned into a mistake. I think he wants to drift.
I see. Okay. Drifting too much.
Yeah.
Well, let's find out.
So yeah, no,
We're just listening to Race Control now.
Race
Just
Control having an
I
argument
wish
with
I
the
could, you know.
producers.
In fact, you're more likely to be able to hear what they're saying than we are,
Yeah.
because they're over there.
Yeah.
They're trying to decide what the actual. Because they're sorry to keep you waiting on this, because this is nail biting, because that could mean.
No, we've got another race. We've got another
I know,
race.
but who's the.
Graham Carroll.
Graham Carroll won.
By 10th, wasn't it?
So that
Yeah.
means that he can afford to make like at least 3 mistakes and still win.
He's got some serious pace then.
So he can really, if he just sort of
Yeah.
slows it down a little bit, brings it under control, then he should walk this.
Yeah.
In theory.
And
Yeah.
you could say there's a link with Bollock Bassi and Carroll, you know, Red Bull Tour, also F1 Esports.
Yeah.
Maybe they were
Interesting.
practicing together.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
So now he's got a couple of mistakes out of his system. We should be able to see some clean racing here, I guess.
Yeah.
But really, Arthur Kammerer from Germany has to really kind of.
Mid 52 is not bad though. You know,
Probably
it's a
sucks that, yeah.
respectable time.
Okay. Okay.
Really nice comment from Kevin Lewin. eROC finalists are going to have an amazing time. It was an incredible experience.
And he was a great,
Brilliant.
great talent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, here we go. This could be the last race of the round of 16, unless Arthur Kammerer can beat Graham Carroll. Good starts from both.
Both, yeah.
Very equal starts.
Graham is in the white machine this time, so has to take the bridge. Interesting the line he takes. He heads out towards the barrier, tries to make that corner more open, carrying more speed through there. It looks much tidier,
Yeah.
although now he starts to get it.
Drift.
See, that's quick though.
Yeah.
That's a quick way to do it.
Got to get the car sliding, but it's so hard to really know what the car's doing when it is
Yeah.
sliding. And that's much better. That's more like it from Graham Carroll.
27.6.
Yeah, that's what you would expect, isn't it?
So is he going to do it? Is he going to do straight sets? He doesn't have to go to a decider. 2 out of 2 through to the quarterfinals. Just 2 more corners.
We're following Arthur Kammerer in the orange machine, trying to find some speed. He has more pace
it's
around the,
launched around
outside,
the outside.
but it's much tighter on the inside, and Graham Carroll takes the victory. At the end, it's quite close.
52.4.
Graham didn't have a good second lap. Did not have a good second
Neither
lap.
of them had a
I
particularly good
expected a little
race.
bit more,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Well, thank you very much for playing Arthur Kammerer. Well done, but you are no longer in the competition.
No.
Because Graham Carroll has taken that place through to the quarterfinals. So let's have a recap. See who we've got on the right side of the draw. We have that's the
quarterfinals you want to see, isn't it?
That's an incredible matchup. I mean, who would you of
The
those
new
4?
boy Jack McIntyre versus the proven Forza World Champion
Okay.
Malay, and then you've got 2 teammates, if you like, in F1 Esports, Toro Rosso, Red Bull, Bollock Bassi and Carroll, competing for the semi-finals.
So if you had to say, in which quarterfinal would you rather not be at this point? If you could choose,
Judging by the times, McIntyre and Malay.
you think they're the strongest?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would say by name, you know, Bollock Bassi and Carroll are more threatening,
Mm-hmm.
but the times don't lie.
Amazing.
I would really not want to be Danny from G2 Esports, because all of his guys are still in, and they're going to start knocking each other out now.
Yeah, I bet the draws kind of annoyed him a bit. I thought that was in for a minute then, but
Andika from Indonesia, that's it was a great experience. Thank you for joining us.
Thumbs
and being
up.
part of it. Yeah, Ramstig, see you next year. Get more laps in. You've got the car on the track now to practice, so you can just keep doing your laps until next year, when we'll have it and do even more and expand even greater this competition to make sure it is truly international and we can get as many people in as possible.
While you read that bit of analysis from Actual Vision, we're getting ready for the quarterfinals, and it all comes up to 2 weeks today.
Yep.
eROC will be happening in Mexico for reals. Now, the first time we did it for reals was last year in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, in the King Fahd Stadium, and we were there, and it was an amazing experience. Let's have a little look back. Before we look back, let's have a look at the table so far, I think.
No, we've done that.
I thought that was just the right-hand side of the draw.
Oh, okay.
Are we going to do the whole graphic?
Yeah, is it coming? Okay, cool.
on to Luke's point though.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're not opening up that corner after the bridge because you haven't got an exit to kind of get the benefit from a wide entry.
Okay.
You're going straight into another corner, so you
Okay.
need to keep it tight just to be as quick as possible, shortest minimal route.
Okay, so here we go. Now we have decided what the quarterfinals will be. So just talk us through that, you guys. That's extraordinary.
Nils is a kind of pseudo G2. Sebastian Job is G2. We've got this very interesting Russian guy we've not seen too much of, Kirill Burakov, and Giorgio Baldi with real experience. That's question mark for me, the quarterfinal 2.
Yeah, I mean, Burakov's like the McIntyre of that side, the kind of new guy. No
Yeah.
one really knows who he is, but he's proven everyone how good he is.
Yeah, he's completely Kirilling it at the moment. And this is the other side of the draw. Now that is, they're going to have to face them. The quarter-finalists to get through to the semi-final from the other side of the draw are going to have to face 2 of those.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, that's it's daunting stuff, isn't it? But I think if I were to put money on any of those guys, Malay and Bollock Bassi are going to be the ones meeting in the semi-final.
Well, you heard it here first.
In my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. If you want to put down a tenner, you do a double up.
Let's go 20.
I'm not going to do
Bluey.
go 20. I'm not going to do any more Ray Winston. Yeah, that's how we will be joining. All those people will now be taking a breather, and we'll go back to the first side of the draw to get quarter-final 1 underway. But let's recap now what happened last year, February, when we were in Riyadh, when we had the inaugural eROC.
There's 2 different kind of gamers. There's your hardcore gamer that's not interested in real world, and there's your gamer who's a wannabe racing driver.
It's fascinating to see how they transfer their skills from the simulator onto the real track, from the virtual world into the real world.
How did it feel to drive a real car?
It felt somewhat natural because driving the sim, I think it teaches you the basics stuff. I'm not gonna lie, at first jumping in the car coming here was a bit terrifying, but as soon as I got in, I felt like, wow, this is actually better than I thought.
We started building the track just after Christmas. We would normally build a track from laser scans, but in this case we were given a drawing, and then we started getting details like barrier positions, bridge designs, logos. In reality, to do a track of this nature should take longer than 1 month to do it well, but I got a really good team of guys. So now we hone in on a perfect track, and the comments so far have been really good.
It isn't just a toy anymore. It's not just a game you play in your bedroom. This is serious stuff, and you can transfer from e-gaming to real-life racing.
Since winning World Fastest Gamer, my whole world turned upside down. I was able to quit my regular job. I'm full-time McLaren employee now. What can I expect more? So all in all, sim racing has brought me everything.
Development in the sims is so advanced these days that F1 teams are using it day in, day out. McLaren has just hired a test driver just for the simulator. I think that says a lot about McLaren are investing in a gamer.
People will look at you, look, the sim racer, they can't drive cars. So there was definitely a lot of pressure into it. I think we did a pretty good job demonstrating what we were capable of.
All 4 of us did sim racing proud in the sense that we didn't crash into the barrier, we didn't do anything stupid, and we was able to show that sim racers can drive in real life.
Remember, both have never raced a real car in competition, yet look at their performance, right on the ragged edge.
Young gamers must aspire to compete in this competition, which is the only one that really allows them to compete in real cars on the real track.
I tell you what, it was really special to be there for the inaugural eROC, Ben, because what you saw quite a lot was, you saw in that picture, you had Tom Christensen and Petter Solberg who'd helped advise the young drivers, because there were drivers there, sim racers, who'd never driven an actual car before.
Yeah.
So they had to learn how to drive an actual car before they then raced it on the circuit. But what was brilliant is you're watching world champions, legends of motorsport like Tom Christensen and Petter Solberg, watching these kids and going, they can really drive. Yeah. I mean, these kids have really got something, and I'm quite envious of their skills and the technology that's available to them at their age to develop as a driver. And it's a real sort of benefit of this generation, I think.
Yeah, I mean, coming from real life to virtual, then to real life. Oh, race time.
It's fine, you can finish the sentence.
Yeah, I forgot now.
That's fine.
Let's get into it.
It's really cool. Sebastian Job versus Niels Now Juice, a man that we know incredibly well, a man that we don't really know unless you were racing sims 10, 15 years ago. And that's an interesting camera angle. That's a very different camera angle.
I think that was Jean-Michel Tibby did that.
Of course.
So here we go. Niels versus Sebastian. Niels is like the comeback king, hasn't he? He's he don't call it a comeback, but he really is trying to restamp his name. It's very close.
That's very close.
Wow, Sebastian, that's a quick time from Sebastian because he's on a different layout.
Is he going to get the job done here?
Oh, Niels just touches the wall there, locks up, but he probably wouldn't have lost too much time by being there. He locked up, but just nudged the car, didn't really make an advantage from it.
No, he's definitely dropped a bunch of time there. Look at that.
Got to get the power down early, just try and drive the car to the line.
Yeah, Sebastian.
And Sebastian on the outside, I think, is going to take this one.
51.8.
Ooh, another sub 52. Is that 8.82? Is that quickest so far? 50?
Yeah.
It
Easily.
is.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah.
By over a tenth.
8.82. So your money was on him, and you're absolutely right at the moment.
Yeah.
But
Brendan Lee is watching.
Yes, he is.
yeah, is he?
Yeah.
He
Hello,
is.
Brendan.
Hello.
Did you just see yourself in the video that we showed?
Oh yeah, that's me.
He's gone
What
now.
turned on for that, saw that, and turned off again. So that was a very good race. It was
Yeah.
tight, and it just shows how much time you can lose from a mistake, because that was a very quick race. But the
I mean,
time
that one
was-
mistake just before the going under the bridge
Yeah.
from Niels kind of cost him, really, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, here we go.
He
This
made a
is-
mistake on the very first race of the
Quarterfinals.
32.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
He was
He
2.5
came back from
seconds
that.
off, so he came back from that, so he can do it again.
So he doesn't get rattled. That's a good thing about Niels. Here we go.
We've got an 18-year-old versus a 33-year-old here. German versus English.
What
but
a
not-
start by Sebastian.
Yeah, not a good start at all by Niels on the outside, snatching gears, going towards the first turn. And you said this is a difficult turn on the outside line as the first corner when you've got the temperature unnecessarily, the brakes not necessarily there. Now everything starts to warm up, and we follow Sebastian Job in the white machine. Look at the car; it's sort of trying to oversteer. It's just turning from the rear rather than from the front, and it does a 27.2. Oh, Niels is going home here.
Niels points. Thank you.
Thank you for laughing.
So
This is
Sebastian
incredible.
is getting this done. I mean, you said he was going to be quick, but this is insane. If he keeps up this pace from that first
I know
lap-
he's put a lot of work into this.
Look
Taking the opportunity.
Look at the advantage he's going to have. This is going to be a huge time. A 51.5.
Oh.
That's 3.5 tenths quicker than anyone else.
Yikes.
I mean, what's he done there? Has he jumped the bridge and that's insane.
He's just
And it-
found something.
And it was his
massive.
own fastest time that he's beaten as
Yeah.
well.
Crazy.
That's ridiculous. Well done, Sebastian, and
done.
bad luck to Niels. Niels points.
Well,
It goes-
Niels tweeted earlier that he had a whole cabinet of alcohol for when he got knocked out, so he'll be tucking in.
Okay.
It'll be a
to
good night,
that.
yeah.
Obviously, don't drink and drive. Now, so some nice messages coming in. Antonella says, "Carilliant pun." Thank you. Puns is what I do. And Kimi Räikkönen, I still don't think it's him. Says, "If you give me a steering wheel and an ice
Sounds
cream,
like him, though,
I
doesn't
can race too." So maybe it's him. Maybe. And great to watch from Timothy. And Alex says, "Go Aurelien, go." So
51.5.
50, now, just tell us how hard it is to do a 51.5 . Having put in some
I'm
time.
not sure he knows.
Yeah, but
You're asking the wrong person
no,
here.
but exactly. What would it take for you to do a 51.5?
Drugs, maybe? I don't know.
Commitment.
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 1,000 laps.
That
Okay,
is
here we
what
go.
it's
Let's
all
race. And now we are moving straight on to.
Niels has come straight onto the stream to thank Sebastian on our Facebook stream.
What a gentleman. Thank you, Niels. Good job.
Stick with
Niels.
us to the rest of this. So this is now Kirill Burkov and Gergo Baldi. And this is kind of the surprise of the night so far. Burkov has taken 2 big scamps. You'd expect Gergo to be there. He's got WTCR experience this year. He's raced in real cars as well as the virtual world in different platforms. But I think in terms of performance, these guys are a different level to what we're seeing from the other matches. 27.9 though from Burkov. He's there and thereabouts. He's underneath that 28-second bracket.
That's very good. That's quick. And this is Russia versus Hungary, of course. So it's kind of Eastern European matchup. But that is a good time, isn't it? 27.9.
Yeah, very solid. Very solid. And I think going into this, he will have the advantage with the inside line.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely. So much
Yeah.
shorter line, that inside line. So comes.
Ooh.
Oh, but
Closer
Burkov
than we
got
thought, though.
some. Obviously got some traction on the outside line there at the very end.
Yeah.
So just a tenth between them.
But you've got to look at the maths here. If they were to race against Sebastian would have been an entire second
Yeah,
quicker
man.
than that race.
I'm
1
not
second.
sure he'll do that time again, to be honest, but maybe I'll be wrong. That is
Remember, he is
ridiculous time.
watching, so don't try and spook him with mind games. He is watching the stream.
Yeah.
I mean, he's literally like you, because you were saying that when you raced the Invitational, you were racing, then watching the stream, then racing. So you were very engaged.
Just to see what the guys are doing time-wise, so you can prepare yourself when you're racing. You know.
And this is interesting. Nicodem says 51.5 was my actual personal best, but
Right,
mega
okay.
job to do it in the race. So there you go.
Yeah.
And it's when you're, I remember speaking to some of the guys who were in Saudi when we did the eROC at Riyadh last February, and there seemed to be some people kind of quite sniffy about someone that would sit at home and just do thousands of laps. And you kind of go, well, you're either going to dedicate yourself to the discipline of it, or you're not. But do you find that there is a kind of sense that people should just be able to sit down and do it based on pure talent?
Yeah, I mean, it gets mixed up between dedication and being keen.
Right.
It's not, a crime to be dedicated to a cause. And look what it's paying off for Sebastian.
Sure.
He done quite a few laps, but he's miles quicker than anyone else. So, yeah, I think it's definitely worth it.
So if you can, you just put in the time.
I wouldn't be embarrassed to do a lot of laps.
Okay.
If it's going to make you quicker,
it's great advice from a guy who is going to Mexico in 2 weeks' time to compete against the best in the world. What a great start from the Hungarian there on the right, on the inside. He has got the trickier first lap, though, has the first half lap.
Yeah.
Over the bridge, bit of a jump.
I think it's a better lap for colder tyres, though, because it's more fiddly. You can get the car a bit warmer, but Gergo then in the white machine gets the power down nice and early, hugs that inside wide line, now starts to allow the car to slide out a little bit, and he definitely has a big chunk extra over Berkov this time. Could be the first time we go into a 3. We haven't gone into a 3 at all this season. This evening. I can't remember.
So what are you seeing? Is anyone like that? Looks quite slow to me, or is he just being very careful?
Slow is fast in that midfield section.
Interesting. Slow is fast.
You don't want to outbrake yourself or anything like that. And it looks like Baldy's got it.
Baldy has got it. We know that Kirill was good on the line, but
So a decider.
Yeah, we go to a 3.
Go to decider.
Yeah.
I just love, it felt like there was a Yoda moment, like then everything just slowed down and said, slow is fast. I love that. It's like, wow, whoa, mind blown. No, but you've got the skills and you've proven it. So, what you say goes. Tom
the Ascended Silly Salmon.
Is that real?
That's Tom Lartaloo. He drives for TX3.
And he was invited to the Invitational, but sadly couldn't make it.
Really?
Yeah.
Where's he from?
He's from France.
Okay, I was going to say he puts a space between the word and the exclamation mark, which they do in France, and we don't in English.
But the silly salmon bit, I'm not understanding, to be honest.
But it's just his handle. What was your first racing handle? What was your first online handle?
JMZ Phoenix was my first ever gamer tag.
Wow, why was it Phoenix?
Because I like the bird.
Oh, right. It's not real.
I watched a lot of Harry Potter.
Okay, fine. Good. Right. Here we go. Arthur, it was really fun to have taken part. Just couldn't get it together against Graham. So this is the community coming together, racing each other, and then being sportsmanlike and joining in.
And they're loving it. They're all loving it, aren't they?
Leslie Oliphant
admitting he didn't have a chance against Seb.
This is brilliant. This is great. Okay, let me go to the decider of the second qualifying matchup. Let's how we go. Second quarterfinal. The decider. They've both had a win each. So who's it going to be? The Russian Kirill Birukov or the Hungarian Gergo Baldi? Oh, a better start from Baldi.
Again, he got a better start. This time in the white machine on the outside line.
So he can carry more speed around that long left-hander. This kind of clockwise track.
I'll tell you what is interesting. They're not cutting on the exit of that first turn that Baldi just went through. They're not cutting that mud bit.
Right.
I was doing that.
Okay.
Because obviously it's
Do you think they should if they're watching?
Maybe they've been told they're not allowed to in the driver's briefing. I'm not sure, but
you can straighten the line, can't you? Just a little bit.
Yeah.
If you do it. So Birkov has the advantage this time, 0.4 of a second over Baldi. So Baldi likes that outside line as a first lap, but doesn't like the inside line. It's not as fast.
Did get a great start.
Oh, he's nudged the barrier. He's taken too much curb.
The pressure. He's buckling. Oh, look at that! Soaring at the wheel. Complete oversteer.
That looked like he was using the handbrake.
Really?
Probably stopped then. He got the rear rotated.
But it has gone to Kirill Birkov.
Well
52.2.
Wow.
That's probably the fastest Kirill's been around the track all night. So he really pulled it out of the bag for that one.
I'm surprised.
Nice one, Kirill.
Very.
Nice one, son. So well done. Amazing. And we say goodbye to Gergo Baldi. So well done, Gergo. But please stay with us, watch the live stream, and see who will go through to the finals, the eROC in Mexico. So there we go. We have our first semi-final matchup. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's got to be Sebastian's from form.
Yeah.
But you never know. I mean, Birukov's surprised us all competition. So
his times have not been anywhere near Sebastian's.
No, that's the worrying thing.
So what does he have to do? Just have to try and be consistent?
I would say he has to take Sebastian out, but he can't.
They're parallel tracks. You can't just start going the wrong way and catch them out.
It's going to be tough, but he's just got to put it together and hope Sebastian can't.
Yeah, okay, very good. So let's get to the second half of the quarterfinals.
And the other thing that can happen is you in your brain you go, oh, this is going to be an easy one. So you don't push as hard, and then you make the mistakes.
Yeah.
So he still needs to treat this race as it would be for any other. This is the other half of the draw then. McIntyre and Mallet, Bollock, Bassi and Carroll. I mean, this might as well be the Invitational, to be fair, because they are guys that are at the very top of their game.
Okay, so the first of those will be McIntyre versus Mallet. All the M's. Gut instinct tells you which one will go through to the semi.
Mallet.
Okay, Mallet. What about you, Ben? What do you reckon?
Jack has been so committed to the cause, and I think he's a surprise. I think if you know the sim racing world, you go with Mallet, but the race is already on.
Here we go. They're into their first half lap.
McIntyre in orange, or Mallet in the white car. McIntyre rotating the car really nicely, getting the power down now. The car looks really well driven. Sometimes you look at these cars, you think, gosh, they look lazy, but Mallet is behind at the intermediate one by half a second. McIntyre is pulling it out of the bag here.
That's a good time again. It's a good half lap time, 27.7. And of course, Mallet was in the Invitational, didn't get through, has come back, got himself to qualify for tonight, got through the 32 to the 16, got through to the quarterfinals, so he's clearly tenacious, but he isn't going to win his first quarterfinal.
Whoa! McIntyre has taken it out.
52-1.
Still 6 tenths off Sebastian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's a mile, isn't it?
Yeah, that's quite.
It's not
amazing.
literally a mile.
No, well.
But it is.
Can someone figure that out?
Yeah. But that's huge.
Yeah, it is.
But congratulations, that's a good race win for. So then we have to go through to the second best of 3.
Yeah.
But it does look like it is going to be McIntyre rather than Mallet.
Well, I don't know. It was only a 10th.
Yeah, true.
You know, it's
I hope it goes to a decider.
I think it should go for a decider.
Yeah, and we know Aurelian's very good at that because he took me to a decider.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Yeah.
He won't give up.
He won't give up.
That's
so
for sure.
tenacious, and that's great. That's what was good about it. Is I think there are 2 people through to the 32 tonight that had been in the Invitational that chose to then choose to qualify for this World Qualifying Final.
Yeah.
So here we go. Let's have a look if it's going to have to go to a decider or if this will kill this quarterfinal. Let's watch.
Just to be
clear,
how hard it is to go from a pad to a wheel, I couldn't pick up a controller and be anywhere near as quick as Aurelian.
Really?
So he's doing the opposite, and he's doing it flipping well.
Okay. Kudos to you then, Aurelian, from James here. Here we go. Lights go out. We are racing. Very even start.
Yeah.
You see how he squirmed over there, Aurelian, to the right-hand side straight away, almost a little bit too severe.
Oh, he's hit the wall. He's understeered wide. He's on the wrong line, Aurelian Mallet. He's really mucked this first bit up, and he'll need something special now.
And he touched the grass on the inside of that corner.
Not good.
He's wild everywhere.
Let's go.
Jack's looking strong, isn't he?
Yeah, really, really strong at a 27.9. It's not massively fast, but Aurelian needs more speed here.
But it looks like Jack just knows he needs to get it done. It's just about finishing the race quicker than him, not with the quickest time, just quicker than Aurelian.
Again, you can see the rear end of the car moving around, sliding around. Really tight line through there. Look to the right-hand side. There is no white car. Jack McIntyre, an unknown racer in the sim world, has smashed Aurelian Mallet.
That's a surprise
out
for you,
of the competition.
Massive surprise, honestly.
Because you had Mallet for that. You had Mallet to go through to the final, I would say, or at least the semis.
Yeah. Kudos to Jack. I mean, he's really announcing himself, isn't he?
Yeah. Very good. Well done, Jack.
A bit like what you did.
Yeah.
It's not really English, but, you know.
And again, this is really great. Like Gaetan Palatu has said, Chem was just too quick for me. So this is lovely that you guys are the actual racers. As soon as they're knocked out, are getting onto social media and getting in touch with us to comment. And even Nils, I actually had a good start, but either Seb was just lucky and guessed the green light, or he has the grip.
So what we do is, if you get a good start, you call it a Valtteri Bottas start, because in 2017 in the F1, Bottas lit up on the grid.
Yep.
So if that happens, it gets you at least 2 or 3 temps.
All right.
Yeah. So.
And the grip in caps, what does that mean?
Sorry?
When he says, he has the grip.
I don't know what that
I
means,
thought
to
it
be
might
honest.
be
That must be an older man thing.
I say. Well, I certainly don't know what it means. But that's interesting about Bottas, that you guys call it a Bottas.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing to relate it to, isn't it?
And Jorni Tormela went for that in the final because he knew that you were so fast.
Yeah.
And he made
so
a mistake.
You have the clutch pedal down, but you don't have it fully down. You have it hovering up, so you have a less time to get to the bite point.
Yeah.
So your foot's like hovering in midair, and then you just...
Got to have a strong ankle.
Should we have another race?
Sure.
Should we have another race?
I think so.
Yeah, why
Let's
not?
do it. Let's have a
whistling
quarterfinal.
Through.
Yeah.
We haven't really chatted.
Yeah, we have. We are chatting enough. This is brilliant. This is exactly what it should be. It's fast-paced. Look at that. A much better start on the outside from Graydon Carroll.
Yeah.
It's Chem Bolokbashi on the outside. On the inside, I mean. So that was a really good start by Graham.
He goes for the dirt and straightens up the line into that corner. Much less clumsy, that particular bridge section, than we saw on the Beijing stream. And Graham loves the car to move around underneath him. Yeah, it's really rotating. Bolotbashi on the outside. I think it's relatively close when they come to the line here.
Chem was really wide. God, he really nearly touched the outside wall there.
Half a second the difference between the two of them, but they are well under, they're both nearly well under the 27 barrier, the 28 barrier even. Bolotbashi has the advantage. We now follow him in the orange machine. I think I prefer that to the white one. The Vool just looks so great. Little mistake there though, I think, just mid-corner. But it is going to Bolotbashi just.
Well, that is very close to a 52 dead, but not quite there. So a little bit ragged there. Both of them didn't look quite to be on their A game.
Graham is really aggressive, really aggressive. But it's working, obviously. Maybe not in that instance, but he's still quick.
You don't need to save the tyres, do you?
No.
Just rip them up.
One thing that's interesting is I've been very lucky enough to have a couple of passenger rides around the Race of Champions circuit. And when you go under the tunnel, no matter how high the car is, especially in an open-top car like the Vool, it's really scary because you're so fast and it's so low. You genuinely feel, yeah. I mean, do you get that kind of sense when you're competing under the bridge? The sense of geography.
No, I mean, if you're wearing VR, I've tried it, and it's halfway there, but you still know you're in a game. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that feels.
Yes, because you will have to
being decapitated in a car.
Hopefully not. So let's go to the second race of the quarterfinals here between Graham Carroll and Chem Bolotbashi. And Chem was much better there off the start line than in the first quarterfinal between these two.
Maybe that makes a difference. He doesn't cut there. He stays away from the dirt.
Nice line there under the tunnel we were just talking about.
Though. It's a bit slow through there. Not as aggressive as Graham Carroll.
But remember, slow is fast.
Slow is fast.
You're getting better at Yoda. As close. Thank you. By the end of the show, you'll be sound really wise.
Graham Carroll matches what Bolotbashi did the last time. In fact, they've both matched each other. This
on
time
the dirt, like you were saying, that's where you touch the dirt, isn't it?
Yeah, but maybe that mucks you up for the next corner because you've got dirty tyres.
It doesn't matter to Graham Carroll. He likes the thing sliding around.
He really is using more than every inch of this tarmac.
I think Carroll's got this one. He had a great first lap. Look at the slide. Full drift. Oh, it's super close to the line. Carroll's got it.
29 thousandths of a second.
Carroll's got it.
29 thousandths of a second. And all in a full drift.
Yeah.
I mean, power on.
Carroll won that, didn't he?
Well, I think this is where he lost out because on the outside line, full grip, he had more momentum. So where the gap was like 0.2 of a second, by the time you get to the line there, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was still going, woohoo, I'm drifting.
That's the kind of driving I like to see.
Wow.
So where does that leave us?
We've got a final.
The decider.
We've got a decider to go.
Okay,
brilliant.
Wow. So Chem and Graham, really, this is a good matchup.
Yeah.
Very
this
evenly
could go
matched.
Anyway.
But interesting that he won that, and Graham was taking so much extra space. He was going on the dirt on the inside, clipping the grass on the outside, fully drifting.
I mean, you can compare it to the Formula 4 driving he's done.
Right.
That's the driving style you have with that car, because it's no aerodynamics or anything. It's really slippy.
Okay.
So maybe he's transferred it onto
and
a set of Corsa.
The Vool's quite similar to that. It doesn't have a lot of downforce pushing it to the ground. It's very sleek.
And as you said, you've got to wrestle it around the track.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, let's see them wrestle it around the track now and see which one of them will make it through to the semi-finals. Chem Bolotbashi against Graham Carroll.
Equal start between the two men. Chem Bolotbashi in the orange, so Graham Carroll in the white on the outside line, goes to the dirt early doors. He has the under the tunnel. Very direct line there from Chem Bolotbashi, but he gets the car slowed down, needs to be neat through here. And he is
fast.
But he felt a little bit too slow, just in the middle of that corner there. Maybe didn't carry enough momentum through. Big old drift from Graham Carroll. Needs to gather it up.
Love it.
It's a great show, but I don't think it's fast. Again, look at the gap. 0.6 of a second between the two of them.
Remember, this is the decider, so one of these goes through to the semi, the other will stop racing and not have a chance to go to Mexico in 2 weeks' time. So, who's it going to be? Last few corners.
And it's to face Jack McIntyre as well. Round the outside, Graham Carroll, has he got enough momentum and speed on the outside line?
Yes.
Did he have to come off the throttle? Yes. He's done it!
What a second half of the lap! How did he pull that out? He was so far behind at the midway point.
Maybe it is quick. We're saying it looks slow. It is slow, but it looks cool. I think it might be quick.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's quicker on the outside there because it's a larger radius corner, so you don't have to try and get the thing to turn as much.
Graham Carroll, you are a legend. That's extraordinary what you've done there. So congratulations. So there we go. Confirmation that is Jack McIntyre of Great Britain against Graham Carroll of Great Britain in semi-final 2. And they're up against semi-final 1 is Birukov and Sebastian Job.
So there's only one non-British guy left.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got 2 Brits.
And I'm British as well.
Yeah.
So if you want to represent rest of the world, Kirill Birukov, it's up to you to try and make it a not clean sweep of Brits going to Mexico in 2 weeks' time.
Look at that. Jack McIntyre, top 4, mind blown.
Just chapeau, Jack. Yeah. We're all very impressed and proud of you.
Well done, man.
And let's just see what can happen in the semi-finals. So quick wrap-up of what we learned from the quarterfinals then, guys.
Don't put any tenors on because it's going to surprise you.
Well, no, you've still got Sebastian Job.
Yeah. I have, yeah, but yeah.
So here we go. This is how we get closer. Look how much easier to understand these graphics get as we go further through the evening. I mean, that first one had literally 32 names on it. Now we have 4. This is insane. Everyone watching, move slightly closer to the edge of your seats because this is going to get very interesting.
Sylvain Gauthier says, I can't breathe anymore.
Well, go outside.
iRacing, R-Factor. Jack McIntyre was...
BSR MX3 champion.
Okay, and then we have Graham Carroll, which is iRacing as well, really.
Oh, multi-talented, multifaceted. But
amazing.
Yeah.
So no Assetto Corsa specialist.
No Project Cars either.
Massive surprise to see Lange leave that early.
Lage. Oh, Ben.
He's changed his name now, so we know who he is.
Who?
Tom.
The Silly Salmon.
Is that the same one?
The Silly
Salmon.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But you knew who he was anyway.
I talked to him.
Your
quite
disguise
often,
did not fool us, Tom. We could see through your Hercule surprise. And by the way, Sylvain, who messaged, if you genuinely can't breathe, call the doctor. Because we can't be responsible for anything bad happening to you. It's only just the 5th of January. It's a whole new year. Be healthy, everyone. So we've seen how it shapes up. We're ready for the semi-finals. Now, when you were at the Invitational back 4 weeks ago, a month ago, tell us how it felt when you were about to do your semi-final. What was going through your mind and what's going through their mind right now?
Calm, very calm. But
really?
When Aurelien beat me in the second race in the loading menu, I was panting like a dog.
Really?
I was so nervous. But there was a massive countdown. It was like 20 seconds before the lights go out.
Yeah.
Just compose myself and
Wow.
Got it in the end.
And did you have people
really
around
nervous.
you, or you like blinkers on your own?
No, I was on my own. I was in my room, light off, door closed. All my parents and that were asleep. So yeah, it was. I had to be quiet, but yeah, I was nervous.
Incredible! That's a brilliant picture you've painted of like how you coped and got yourself through that, because it was only up to you. There's no, you were actually having to almost do it in secret.
It's a nerve-wracking place. You're practicing with various drivers. Then when you get to the tournament, you're on your own.
Yeah.
So you're left to your own skills.
Amazing.
But I felt confident until I got beaten by Aurelien, and then it went,
Well, here we go then.
South.
This is a massive matchup for semi-final 1. Who do you think is going to be? Well, we know that Sebastian has been putting in the fastest race time so far. His 51.54 was his quickest so far. Ridiculous.
And Job is in the orange machine. So Birkhoff on the white machine on the outside line. The Russian has come way further than we expected him to do so, knocking out all kinds of incredible names as he's managed to progress. But is this going to be his final hurrah? With Sebastian Job just being so performant. 27.5 is what we're seeing from the other guys, that same kind of split. But Birkhoff has got a couple of tenths behind what we saw with Graham Carroll and Bolabashli, for instance.
Who hit the curb?
Sebastian.
Okay. So I was going to say maybe he's playing it safe, but clearly
I think he's
not.
got a lot in hand here, to be honest.
Okay.
Here we go.
It's closer.
Yeah, I'd say...
He has got it in hand on the inside, for sure. Sebastian Job then takes one
nice.
win.
51.
And still bangs in the 51s.
Wow.
So
casual.
Hit
a curb.
That's casual for Sebastian Job, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
He's just on it tonight.
That's pretty good. So he is his first blood to him. Of course, there's going to be the second race now, which is where Birkhoff really has to do something special.
Yeah.
Do you think he has got any chances? Because this is the kind of form that you were on in the Invitational. Is we would watch you win and win and win, and then obviously it was Aurelien who sort of really brought the game to you. This is the point that. This has to happen with Kirill.
I would say, Sebastian's got it in hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to be boring, but it does seem it's going that way.
You're far from it, my friend. Let's have a go. Let's see who is going to win this next match. The race second race of semi-final 1.
Kirill has done an amazing job. I think both Jack and Kirill are real surprises.
Kirill's done an amazing job.
I don't think he meant.
I did. Oh,
well done.
Accidental punning.
Good job.
Accidental punning.
Well, good job.
Good job. Nice. No, I just think it's incredible that they've come through all these incredible names and they're still in this competition, beating off these incredible people.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah. On a Saturday night.
Saturday night.
So here we go. Let's see who beats off the other one here. Kirill Birukov against Sebastian Job. Now, of course, if Sebastian wins this, he is straight through to the final. But will Kirill kill him off?
Sebastian got a good start, as you'd expect. Birukov on the inside line. And we follow Sebastian Job in the orange machine. All looks good, all looks composed. Should really be checking out what Kirill can do and whether Kirill has got enough in hand. There he is in the white car on the outside line. And again, he should be just a little bit ahead here.
Neither of them drifting, interestingly. Neither of them really losing that, relinquishing the control we've seen before.
Birukov throws the car into that first turn, gives the grass a little bit of a kiss. And looks good, to be honest. Yeah. Really does look
really
well
good.
driven.
It's close.
Yeah, very close. I can see Kirill winning this and taking it to decider.
Oh, no, understeer. Understeer central.
Some mega second lap, isn't
wow. Second lap from Sebastian. Look at that.
A whole second.
Quicker than the first, and he looked slow.
A whole second.
Slow is fast.
Slow is fast.
There we go. So well done, Sebastian. We have our first finalist. And you predicted it from the very first round.
I did. It's only because I've been speaking to him, really, but there we go. Sebastian Job joined by...
Who?
An Englishman or a Scottishman?
Yes, exactly.
Well,
exactly.
We don't know yet. We're about to find out. Are they in the lobby? Are they ready? Now, this is the moment you were saying. You just got to calm your breathing down.
Yeah.
Get yourself in the zone.
Compose yourself.
And hit semi-final 2. Thanks, Gaetan. And make sure you go and take care of your bunny rabbit. Make sure that he or she, what's she called? He has nice grass or cabbage ready to sleep well.
In French, cabbage.
Chou.
Oh, yeah.
It's chou in French.
Not that
and
chou.
Cauliflower is chou-fleur. Anyway.
Like a linguist you are.
I am. Literally am. Like a linguist. So, semi-final 2. Who will face Sebastian Job in the final? We're about to find out.
McIntyre versus Carroll, a very well-known sim racing expert and one about to make his name, has made his name tonight. Not a great start from the orange car, great start from Graham Carroll in the white machine, but now it's all about how they can get around this track as efficiently as possible. They've both been setting times similar to each other in the previous round, so in theory if you took those lap times it would be super close.
Do you think Jack maybe sort of buckled under the pressure a little bit on the start there because he's kind of a little bit maybe out of his depth here? I don't want to do him a disservice.
He's still close. They're still in the 27s.
That is very good time. So I take back everything I just said.
I think that's a good time by Graham because he's on the other layout.
Okay.
It's slightly slower, just in the way you start on that. So.
Because both sides are obviously equal, but
the
first half of the lap is slightly slower.
I think Graham might have this.
Yeah. I think you're right because he's got more slingshot.
No, but he's close to the inside line, and remember,
he's close.
Drifting.
Hang on. Oh,
Graham Carroll does it by 0.2 of a second in the end.
They both. Is that our first
double
race
51.
that's had double 51s?
Yeah,
I think it is.
And a 51.7 as well.
51.7.
Yeah.
Still 0.2 off what Sebastian's done, but that's very, very impressive to have both of them putting in a time like that. Now that must be also both of theirs best time on this track so far on the night.
Yeah, well, definitely. Whether they've done it in practice, who knows?
Yeah, so I think Jack can take it back to him. I really do. I think that he's shown time and time again. He's got a lot of pressure now. There's a huge pressure on his shoulders, and being one down, that must have changed your mentality when you were one down.
Yeah, but it was 1-1, so it was a bit more.
Won before, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What am I talking about?
Back.
Yeah, it was. It will be nervous.
Well, let's see how he copes.
And Graham's going to be more used to the situation than Jack.
Oh, Graham's had years of this, years of sim racing, years of these competitions, and experiences and opportunities, and he's put him in a good position. But it's an equal start between the two of them.
Jack just seemed to lurch over to the right there to get a better line, but that can't be the quickest way into turn 1.
Now let's try and round that corner off as much as possible. Oh, that looks like an error from Jack McIntyre.
Yeah.
Just locked the front brake, got the car rotating too much, but Graham Carroll lives on the edge, remember. He loves the car to slide around, and therefore that can easily end in disaster if he does too much.
Neat and tidy there, though, look.
Yeah.
Uncharacteristically so, yeah, really good lap. Look at that. 27.5.
Wow.
And we've lost the cars. Where have they gone?
No,
There they are.
So this is all or nothing now for Jack, really. He's really got to pull out the ridiculous last few corners.
It's been a good run, hasn't it? But
Yeah.
I think it might be the end for Jack.
He's round the outside. Remember when Graham Carroll was sliding through here last time? It wasn't fast. Graham Carroll does it this time. It's a pretty slow lap between the two of them. Not in the 51s.
At the beginning of the night, we would have said that 52.0 was a fast lap. So, I mean, kudos to those guys for doing that. And well done to Graham Carroll, who is our second finalist. Let's just take a moment and look at that. Look at that. We could have guessed that both of those could have had a good chance to make it through to the final.
Yeah, absolutely.
And their teammates, kind of, as well.
Yeah,
really?
Well, Graham Carroll for Team Redline Racing, but Red Bull.
You have an interesting story, actually. Sebastian Job won the JMR scholarship, and Graham Carroll tutored him in the Formula Ford season, didn't he?
Yep.
Through his Formula Ford experience.
Yeah.
That's a nice little...
These guys know each other.
Backstory on the final, isn't
That's very good. That's why we got you here, for that level of insight there. So while we get ourselves prepared for the final, and while those guys get themselves prepared, I don't know if they're like you were at home, everyone else is asleep. It's a bit earlier this time than it was when you did your invitation.
Oh, yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the middle of the night. That was really, really late. But now, before we get to the final, you first of all send us your messages. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Sebastian or is it going to be Graham? Who do you think is going to win? But let's have a little bit of a look at Mexico and what the track will hold for us when we go there in 2 weeks' time for Race of Champions.
Get ready to rock! Race of Champions!
Wow, so just explain, Ben, that what that meant in terms of the format, because we've seen a lot of Miami was a unique format. We've been looking a lot at Beijing, London, and of course Saudi Arabia. But tell us what it's going to be like in Mexico.
Race of Champions tracks, as you well know, are traditionally built with a crossover to allow the two cars to be side by side.
Yep.
Sometimes that's not possible, either through space, like we had in Miami, or in this sense, because there's a lack of time between our race and another race afterwards in the same area. They can't build a tunnel, they can't build a bridge because it takes too long to destroy.
Okay.
So we come up with this pursuit-style race where the drivers start facing each other. They head off in different directions, but they're basically on the same layout of track, and they finish crossing over like that. It means that you have left reference as to where the person is in relation to you. Sometimes on other tracks you're side by side, but in Mexico you don't have that, and it's a different challenge. And we will see that in the sim world as well as the real world in 2 weeks' time.
Oh, amazing.
Cool.
Race
Meanwhile,
one.
The final. And these are both of these have been the quickest. They've set the quickest times.
51.5 and 51.7.
So the best have made it through to the final.
Absolutely.
They are the fastest and the most consistent.
Good start from Sebastian Job on the right-hand side. He's in the orange machine. Graham Carroll on the white car has the outside line, as we've seen all night, cuts that little piece of dirt to widen that corner through and under the tunnel. The car looks good at the moment. Loves to see the car move around, to rotate, to get the rear end moving, quite direct into there, and now gets the power down and gets the car sliding. I think he came off the throttle a little bit there, and it's Sebastian Job who has the advantage by 7/10 of a second. It's the best lap we've seen Job do all night long so far on that first part of the lap. Now we follow Job, the orange car, much straighter in terms of its body language. It's not sliding around as much. Neater on the inside line, and Job is going to take this by quite a margin, I think. Yes, a 51.6 plays 51.9, and Sebastian Job puts the first hand on that trophy.
Amazing. Now, that's obviously not the quickest he's gone, but just to be continually pushing yourself a little bit more, you know, it's not that they've kind of both reached the final and gone, okay, we'll call a truce, let's just sort of do our most consistent.
No.
They still want to set faster times.
That's it. I mean, Sebastian seems to have that mid 51 in his locker, doesn't he?
Yeah, straight away. He can bang that in every time now,
yeah.
regardless of pressure or if he's racing against someone else.
He's in a good position. I don't think now he's going to suddenly go, you know, I can't win it anymore.
Nice message from Frederick Erasmussen, who says, I hope it's a tie and they both go to Mexico. It could happen.
It's possible.
It's absolutely
there
possible.
There is that wild card.
Happen.
But it probably
don't think it will, but yeah.
Okay, and then Jamie Fluke, there isn't anyone better in a hot lap format such as this than Seb that I've ever seen. Wow. Thanks, Jamie, for your comment. Thanks to all of you for your comments. Let's see, is this the last race of the evening of the entire World Qualifying Final? Or can Graham Carroll win this and take it to a decider? Lights out. Away
his jump start! A jump start from Graham Carroll!
God.
Oh, and it's all over!
His chances have literally gone up in smoke.
That is disastrous.
So, Sebastian's done so well, he's cloned himself, and now there are two of him. So he is a double winner. And so we just need to wait for proper clarification of this. But as far as I can see it, this is a lap of honour from Sebastian Job, because bless him, Graham has jump-started in the second race of the final.
Like Yoni, but the other way round, yeah.
That's insane.
He knew he had to do it. He knew he had to do it. This is now a lap of honour. You can see
he's weaving about.
He's weaving around.
Do you think he was doing what the Bottas, trying to guess the lights?
That's all he could do.
Yeah.
You know? He had so little left to give to Sebastian. That's what you got to resort to. It didn't pay off though.
Wow, look at this. So the only car on track.
There we go.
Is Sebastian Job.
And he's celebrating.
It's amazing. Let's have a little round of applause there, Sebastian. So
Graham Carroll's already on. I had to try.
Oh, bless.
Nice.
Of course you did,
Not
Graham.
bad,
You know, but that's great because you admitted you had to try and guess the lights, or else you have acknowledged that he was just going to be too quick. So there we go.
Well done.
The big trophy there goes to Sebastian Job. And, you know, if you want to give a little message, James, down the camera to Sebastian, because you are going to be racing against him
You're competing
in exactly
against him
2
now.
weeks' time.
Yeah.
And you know how quick he is. So a little message down the screen to him.
We're ready.
Woohoo! That's fighting talk. So amazing. So congratulations, Sebastian Job.
G2 versus Veloce.
G2 versus Veloce, and 2 more names to be announced on Monday at lunchtime. That will be when we find out the full lineup of 4 drivers competing to race alongside Enzo Benito, who will be leading the Team All-Stars in the Nations Cup.
Wow.
1 other driver will face the likes of Sebastian Vettel, will be driving against all these legendary names.
God, I can't wait.
And going to Mexico City. Even just a trip to Mexico City is cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's a great
Highest
circuit.
city in the world, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, altitude is very
Do some
good.
altitude fitness.
Yeah.
2,000
Mask on.
metres up. Yeah, exactly.
Johan Kristoffersen, you'll be facing off against him as well. So amazing. So congratulations to you, Sebastian. We will see you in Mexico. And thank you to everyone who's watched this stream, everyone who joined in, everyone who set a lap time, whether it was 1 or 1,000 laps. We really relished you being part of this. And of course, this is only our 2nd year of eROC. This is just going to get bigger and bigger. So thanks for all of your involvement. Thanks to Ben Constanduras. Thanks to you, James Baldwin.
Thank you, boys.
We will all be in Mexico. Make sure you join us there. But for now, let's leave you with what Mexico is going to look like and just say thank you very much to Sebastian and adios. Hasta luego.